So Marilyn and Jimmy, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Can we talk a little bit about what the League of Women Voters of Winchester is doing right now?
Sure. So the League of Women Voters, we are celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. And the League of Winchester became a league. It had a suffragette movement, and as soon as the amendment passed, we immediately formed a league. And we even have minutes from way back then, ladies with their gloves on and having tea and everything, which is really exciting. But this is our 100th anniversary, and we wanted to celebrate it in a big way. So we brought Jimmy back. This is our third time with Jimmy Tingle.
Yes, I was there at the original signing 100 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
I killed the crowd. They loved it.
Jimmy, talk to me a little bit about the beginning of your career and
Sure.
how you sort of chose the path to become more of a political comedian.
Sure. Well, I started performing in the early 1980s in the local clubs here in Boston, and most comics gravitate towards the areas they're interested in. So I have comics that do a lot of stuff on sports. I have other comics who do a lot of things on relationships. I always liked politics. I paid attention to what was going on in the news. I studied sociology and history in college. I just liked it. It was in my family. My uncles were involved locally in politics in Cambridge. So I just had this natural affiliation for it. And every day the papers are out there and you just get the material.
So it's fresh all the time.
It's fresh, it's relevant, and I was reading the papers anyway, so I just started to apply what I was reading to the humor, to the performances, and that's how I got into it.
So how do you take something that sometimes can be seemingly so serious,
Right,
and spin it to where it's humorous?
Well, it's sometimes it's exaggeration. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, for example, I heard that Tom Hanks just came down with the virus. I'm watching it last night, then I watched Forrest Gump. I said, I feel dizzy. Honey, I feel dizzy. I just saw Forrest Gump.
So is it just natural like that? It just kind of comes to you?
It does. It does. Sometimes you really have to work on it. But it's a combination of being naturally curious, having a sense of humor, and looking for the angles on things that nobody else has come up with, and really trying to be as original as you can. And in my case, I try to be fair. I have, generally speaking, most people if you're going to take the time to talk about a subject, usually you'll have a point of view about it.
Sure.
That's why the League and I have always hit it off, because they're involved in the community. They're trying to improve the society on the local level, on the state level, on the national level. 100 years. And so they've been very committed to families and education and political progress and expanding voters' rights and fairness in our society. And so that's what I try to do. I grew up Catholic. My upbringing has a lot to do with my worldview. So my comedy reflects that point of view, really, and so it coincides with the League in a general sense. And so it's a pleasure to be. This is the third performance I'll be doing with them, and we've raised millions.
Millions and millions.
We have raised millions.
That's great. That's great.
And we're going to raise millions more.
So tell me about Humor for Humanity. How
Sure.
long have you been doing this?
I went back
action?
to school. I had a theater I ran a theater in Davis Square, Somerville until 2008. And when I ended that theater in 2008, I said, I want to go back to school. And so some friends of mine said, you should check out the Kennedy School. It's really, and I said, I'm an entertainer. I don't think the Kennedy School of Government is really where I belong. They said, no, Jimmy, they would really appreciate, I think you'd have a good chance of getting in. They want people from different walks of life who have been engaged in the community. That's why the League and I get along so well. I've been engaged over the years. And so I applied and I got in. And while I was there, I met all these people from all over the world who were engaged in their communities, their countries, all different walks of life, armed services, national security, nonprofits, municipal leaders, state, local, federal government people. And they were all involved corporate. They were all involved and they were trying to improve society. And I said, geez, I'd love to, I don't really want to go into hardcore, municipal government personally, but I'd love to be able to use entertainment for purposes beyond entertainment. And over the years, I had just been asked many, many times to do events like for the League and like all sorts of other organizations, to perform because my material was talking about what they're interested in and what they're advocating for. So I said, let me see if I can create a little organization called Humor for Humanity. And our mission statement is Humor for Humanity, more than entertainment, raising spirits, funds, and awareness for nonprofits, charities, and social causes. Our mission is your mission. Humor for humanity. Humor in helping, humor in healing, humor in hope. Ha, ha, ha.
Now, did you write that yourself?
I did.
And
It
you
only took me
memorized
5 years. That's why I went back to school, just to write that mission statement.
Yes.
5 years I toiled on that.
So, year to year,
Yeah.
you go around, you're performing, and you're doing a lot of fundraisers,
Yeah.
like we're going to talk about very shortly. How is Humor for Humanity helping out, in your view?
Well, what I do is, it's a way to use the skills that I've already established as a comic, as an MC, and as an auctioneer. I never knew I was an auctioneer or an MC, but I had been MCing comedy shows for years. I had been, occasionally they would ask me, hey, can you do the auction at this event? And so I'd do the auction, and so I learned how to do auctions. I learned how to MC. I knew how to perform, and so I blend them so you can do more than one thing. So it benefits the organization. They don't have to hire, 3 separate, an MC, a comedian, and an auctioneer. They can hire one person, and it's good for them. And I take great pride in raising as much money as we can. I love it. I get it over the top. I go to people's houses and take their money.
Break open the wallet, right?
I know where you live. Give us some money. This is very important. The League is doing great work. No, but I get into it, and I love doing it. So in that respect, we've raised a lot of money over the last few years.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's not a huge organization. It's basically myself, and occasionally I'll branch out. I hope to branch out so we can have other performers doing it with me, so we make it more impactful.
Okay. Are you working mostly with chapters of the League of Women Voters, or are there different organizations you work with?
I've done 3 with the League
Okay.
over the years. And as a matter of fact, what happened was after I went to school, I said, I have to formalize what I've already been doing. So the first time I worked with the League, I was just, solo. There was no particular title for it. It was just, I was just doing it as a performer and an MC. And then when I started establishing this mission behind it, then it had more of a purpose. And so lots of different organizations have asked me to do things, and I have a list at home, probably done 50 over the last couple of years. Yeah, and it's good, and my goal is to make them more money than they would make normally. Isn't that a good goal?
It is a
That's
good
a very
goal.
noble goal. We want money out of politics and into the League.
I think it's a good idea. So let's talk about the upcoming event, Marilyn. Can
Okay.
you give us some specifics
Sure.
and what happened? What just brought it about?
Well, the League has, every other year we have a fundraiser, and we tie it to, there's a national conference every 2 years, and so we like to have a fundraiser so that we can send some delegates. That's our goal. And basically for this, because it is the 100th anniversary, it's going to be more of a celebration. So there'll be a 1-hour reception, and we're going to get a really nice cake from La Patisserie, and we're going to serve Prosecco, and there will be raffle items, and they're actually from local businesses that we'd like to highlight as well. They're very generous. And then Jimmy comes on at 7:30. So, and he's the star event, people know him, he's a big draw.
Yeah.
So we're pleased and really happy to have him back.
And I better be good that night, too.
Well, now we're
Oh, no
hyping it up.
cake. No cake for me.
You don't want to be loaded down.
We'll save Jimmy a piece of cake, for sure.
Yes, cake after the
Yeah.
performance.
Right.
So what are you hoping to do with the event, Marilyn?
Some of it is to bring awareness to the League. We're asking all members, our goal is 100 tickets, and we're asking members to invite friends and family, and hopefully people that could be potential League members. So for example, someone in my neighborhood, also in my dog group. She just recently became a citizen. So I have invited Mika and her husband as my guests. And again, she lives locally. She's in Winchester. You know, hopefully she'll join the League of Women Voters. She'll learn a lot about it that night. We'll have information about the League. And so it's really to expose people and know that we also like to have a good time. We're not always serious and,
Yeah.
you know.
I think that goes right along with Jimmy's mission statement.
Yeah.
Trying to bring a little levity to the
levity.
world, you know?
Absolutely. People love it. You know, a lot of these events, what's happened over the years is a lot of the events, they're doing fundraisers, they'll have an auctioneer or whatever, and they'll have some sort of a band or something, but they love the fact that they're laughing. And they can laugh together regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on.
Right.
You can be in the same room and you can have laughs and enjoy each other and enjoy the comedy. So people love it. And then when we get into the raffle, I hope I win this year. That'll be a lot of fun too, because
Yeah.
that's really spontaneous and gets people psyched up, and it's always for a good cause. Remember, for our democracy to work, people got to be involved, and so on every level, on every level, and they do great work on the grassroots level, and so I'm just really proud to be involved again.
Well, we're really looking forward to the event. Marilyn and Jimmy, I just wanted to say thanks so much for coming into WinCam today, and
My
we look
pleasure.
forward to the great event.
Let me
Thank
just say
you.
this: WinCam rules.
Oh, you know, this is a guy who knows what he's talking about, right?
WinCam rules.
That's right. That's
Send
right.
a donation to WinCam.
There you go.
First to the league, then to WinCam. Then a couple of bucks for Tingle.
Why not, right?
I got to make a living too.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.